Okay, let's go ahead and look at Seamless.AI's onboarding flows. This is purely meant for educational purposes, just my opinion, but this is where I will walk through onboarding and activation flows, and based on my experience, I kind of point out where I believe things could be going wrong, things to improve, and then I will kind of put together a wireframes and things like that to do what I would suggest in more of like a behavioral design capacity. Okay, let's get started. So there is nothing wrong with this, in my opinion. I think this is A+, fine. I can understand why they're asking me this information right up the front, especially for this type of product. If your ICP is sales, I don't see personally any hesitancy for them to give this information. I like the fact that they're calling this out right here. It's a little bit of an incentive. So that is great. Well done, in my opinion. So this is where I got a little bit like, what's happening here? Okay, so they're already asking for my phone number. My immediate thought was, why do you need my phone number again? Obviously, when it comes to self-serve systems, if you're asking for kind of more intimate information, such as your phone number, and you're asking for it multiple times, I personally think that you need to have a really good reason behind it, and you need to explain, which is what they've done very well. Bravo. I loved this message. I think it was transparent. It wasn't AI generated. It's clear that there's a reason that they're asking you again, and so they made it clear, super transparent, and I think that's very well done. So when we come to Google Chrome extension, so in theory, I understand why Seamless.AI would want them to download Google Chrome, retention play, product expansion play, etc., etc. The thing is, I'm not really sure that this is the right time to be introducing this, right? Because if you think about it right now, I'm a customer that has just come through your onboarding flow. I'm still in the practice. I'm still in the what does this product do mindset. What this is potentially introducing is logistical friction, right? Because now there's an additional logistics portion of this where I now have to think, okay, now I have to do something else right off the bat. And it also kind of breaks the flow. I have come in as a user with a very specific problem in mind that I'm hoping this product right away fills me in on. So I would actually not include this in the onboarding, and I would include it in a more context aware flow. So if you've noticed that, this user has been using this product X amount of times, and you know that adding this Chrome extension would actually make it a lot easier for them, surface it in that moment. I also want to call out the fact that, right, so in theory, again, I get it, 20 credits, really great, but keep in mind, credits mean nothing to me right now. I don't even know, I don't know if 1 credit is equal to 1 lead. I don't know what your credit system is, and also just 20 credits. Again, don't know. I have no concept of the credits right now. So I would say that while this is nice, as a user, I'm not really sure what the intention behind telling me this is, because I have no launching pad for it. Okay, moving on. So let me actually go here first. So it's really interesting because I saw this, and in theory, again, I understand what the goal and motivation behind this is. If I were to have expanded this a little bit larger, you'd see that this is actually on the bottom right hand side of the screen, and it gets lost pretty easily, and I'm sure the product team is very well aware of that. The issue also is that the steps that are being asked, I would highly recommend that you map those back to what is the first impact of the product. What do you want the user to do as the very, very first thing that you kind of want to show them? So I would even garner to say that these need to be a little bit less broad in the sense of create a Seamless account, search for leads, find your first lead, book a demo. Great. I don't, the user's not going to do all that. So I would actually narrow this down and lead it up to maybe it's find your first lead. So maybe the goal for this is find a lead. And then these steps, try laddering that up to just find a lead, because you need to identify what is the one action that this user will take in order to get them to the next level of, okay, I understand about the product. That's your only goal right now. Moving on. So this in theory also great. So this has appeared after I hit search for leads and I did the action. It says, nice, you just did a search. I would highly recommend putting some context behind this, because me just doing some search, what does that mean? I don't know what happens now. Okay, great, I did a search. How does that help me, right? It's kind of just saying the action. It's not telling you the behavior. So highly recommend putting some context around there. Also, I will say this is very overwhelming. I'm not reading through all this. These are 3 bullet points that are telling you to do something else. You've now just stuck 4 things into one module, 4 action points into one module. That is not best practice, in my opinion. I would highly recommend one module of onboarding only have one action. Trust me, this is to avoid user overwhelm, because when a user comes in and they think about it, you know, you're not going to do 4 or 5 different actions, especially if it's like in a tiny little box. Just if you think about the cognitive overload portion of it, this is a lot. So I would highly recommend breaking this out and really rethinking, do we even need the user to do all these things? And then get your one-on-one personalized demo. I don't see anything wrong with this. I think the only feedback that I would give is make sure that you know that, okay, if someone jumps on a demo, they are more likely to perform X action. Is this the right time to get them on a demo? Because I want you to realize as well, they have not seen the product value yet from what I saw in the product, right? You want to make sure that by the time you ask them to get on a demo, they need to have seen the answer to the problem that they came in for. So I would highly recommend that when you're asking for people to hop on a call, realize that they might not take you up on it because they don't feel the need to hop on a call. They don't even know what the point of this platform is. So why are they now spending time talking to a human? So you want to get them to a point, see that they're seeing product value first, so they can invest time. The whole point of coming in self-serve is that they don't want to talk to someone. So keep that in mind. Just going a little bit, I'm not going to spend too much time on these. When I was going through the platform, I didn't really understand the intention behind asking this question. I think it was a little bit out of place for me, simply because, yes, buyer intent is important, but am I really thinking about buyer intent and all of that right now? I don't know, right? This seems like a little bit more of a complicated thing in the product when you really need to simplify this down. Also, wanted to point out, your representative will be in touch shortly, just a slight copy tweak. Tell them through which medium and tell them what to expect. It's not a big deal, but just some nitpicky things. And then lastly, what I wanted to say is on the product dashboard, after all of this is done, one main key thing, take this out. I really, really think that this is not doing anything for anyone, right? Welcome to Seamless.AI. Here's all these amazing things about us, et cetera, et cetera. This is prime real estate when it comes to product, right? This is like big deal. This is the first thing that your customer will see after they've done all the shenanigans of onboarding and whatever you're kind of asking or pushing them to do. You don't want to use this opportunity to brag about yourself. They already know good things about your product, which is why they're coming in here. I would actually use this to answer a problem that they have. I would use this to make navigation easier. I would use this to kind of, just make things dynamically better so that when they come in here, they have a solid understanding of here's what I need to do next. And again, also, don't leave empty states if you can, because again, the empty state only confuses the user a lot more because now I'm just seeing something and I don't know what to do with this. So I would take this out and I would maybe perhaps push this up when it comes to design, or do you even need search history, right? Is there any way that you can populate something in here right away for the user so that they understand where does the dashboard sit in the user flow? So overall, just a couple of things is when it comes to the product, when it comes to self-serve in terms of PLG, I would really think about making the actions smaller. Okay, you don't need to do all 10 actions right away. Think about first and second impact. When you're thinking about what do you want the person to do, what are the basic, most essential things that you need this user to do coming through onboarding and activation, and ladder back towards those basic essential things. So it could be just smaller bite-sized steps. I don't know if necessarily you need the user to search for leads, find your first lead, book a demo. I don't know, right? Those are very large things. You need the user to see some sort of value and get their question answered in the first time, ideally, that they're coming to your product, so that they feel the need to say, oh shoot, I should probably go back and finish what I started. And then that will eventually ladder up to perhaps a demo and things like that.